The Great Hall of the Galactic Assembly was the largest room ever built by any species. 1,000 seats rose in circles around a central platform, and today every seat was full. Diplomats from 100 different worlds sat watching the massive screen that floated above them all. Ambassador Ho sat in humanity's seat, his hands folded calmly on the desk before him. He was a tall man with gray hair and a face that showed nothing of what he felt inside. He had served Earth for 30 years, and he had learned long ago that showing emotion in this place was dangerous. The screen flickered and a face appeared. It was not a human face. The creature had green scales covering its skin, yellow eyes with slits like a snake, and rows of small sharp teeth. This was Warlord of the Dominion, and he was smiling in a way that made Ho's blood run cold. "Greetings to the Galactic Assembly," said. His voice was rough, like stones grinding together. "I speak to the Terran Federation today with a simple offer." The camera moved and Ho felt his heart stop for just one moment. Behind stood rows of humans. Their hands were tied. Their faces were bruised and bloody. Some of them were crying. He counted them quickly in his head. 44 people. Scientists, engineers, workers from Research Outpost Theta 7. In the front stood a young woman with short black hair. Her lip was cut and blood ran down her chin, but her eyes were not crying. They were angry. A small sign hung around her neck with her name written on it. Dr. Park. Grabbed by the shoulder and pulled her forward. He held a long curved blade and pressed it against her throat. Did not scream. She did not beg. She just stared into the camera with those angry eyes. "The Terran Federation will give us the Meridian star system," announced. "They will leave the outer colonies. They will pay 500 billion credits to the Dominion. They have 72 hours. He pressed the blade harder against neck. A thin line of blood appeared. "For every hour after 72, I will kill one human, starting with this one." The transmission ended. The great hall exploded with noise. 100 species began talking at once, their translators creating a storm of sound. But Ho sat still. He had not moved since the transmission began. The ambassador came to him first. There were tall creatures that looked like insects, with big eyes made of many small parts and long, thin arms. Ambassador was one of the oldest diplomats in the assembly, and he had always been friendly to humans. "Ambassador," said, his voice clicking softly, "this is terrible news. We are so sorry, but please do not worry too much. They have done this before. They are cruel, but they are also practical. If you pay them, they will return your people." Ho looked at but said nothing. "We can help," continued. "Many species here will give money. The trade union has already said they will contribute 100 billion credits. We can negotiate with them. Perhaps they will accept less. Perhaps." "No." The word was quiet, but it cut through all the noise in the hall. Slowly, the talking stopped. 1,000 eyes turned to look at the human ambassador. "I am sorry," said confused. "I do not understand, no to what." Ho stood up slowly. He straightened his jacket and looked around the great hall at all the faces watching him. Some of those faces looked worried. Some looked confused. Some, he noticed, looked almost hungry, waiting to see what the humans would do. "No negotiation," Ho said. "No payment, no surrender of territory." The hall went completely silent. Ho could hear his own heartbeat. The ambassador, a short fat creature covered in golden fur, jumped to his feet. "Are you mad? They will kill your people. 44 lives, ambassador. Surely you can pay to save them." "We have paid before," said another voice. This was the ambassador from the collective, a being made of what looked like blue smoke held in the shape of a person. "When they took our research vessel, we paid. We got our people back. This is how things work." "This is how things have always worked," agreed the ambassador. "They take hostages, species pay ransoms, everyone lives. It is not pleasant, but it is practical. Ambassador, please see reason. Your pride is not worth 44 lives." Ho walked down from his seat toward the central platform. Every step echoed in the silent hall. When he reached the platform, he turned to face the assembly. "You call it practical," he said. "You call it reasonable. You say this is how things have always worked." He paused and looked at each ambassador in turn. "How many of your people have the taken over the years? How many ransoms have you paid?" No one answered. "Every ransom teaches them that taking hostages works," Ho continued. "Every payment makes them stronger. Every time you bow to them, they learn that violence is profitable." He shook his head slowly. "Humanity will not teach that lesson. We will not pay murderers for the privilege of getting our people back." "Then they will die," shouted the. Ho's eyes were hard as stone. "Then they will learn what happens when you murder humans and expect us to thank you for it." He walked toward the exit. Before he left, he stopped and looked back one more time. "Contact the Terran Federation Navy. Tell Fleet Admiral Bai that she has authorization to proceed with Operation Silent Thunder." He paused. "And tell Warlord that humanity sends its regards." The doors closed behind him. In the great hall, 1,000 beings sat in shocked silence, wondering if they had just watched humanity sign the death warrants of 44 innocent people. They did not understand humans at all. The news spread across the galaxy like fire through dry grass. Within 1 hour, every major news network was talking about the human hostages. Within 2 hours, everyone had seen the recording of Ambassador walking out of the Galactic Assembly. Within 3 hours, the galaxy had chosen its side. Most thought the humans were insane. On the planet, in a small drinking house, a group of merchants watched the news on a dusty screen. Their golden fur was dirty from long travels, and they held cups of warm, sweet drink in their small hands. "Stupid humans," said one of them, shaking his round head. "All that pride, and for what? Their people will die and they will have nothing." "Maybe they do not care about their people," suggested another. "No, I have traded with humans," said an older merchant with gray patches in his fur. "They care too much. That is their problem. They feel everything so strongly. Love, hate, anger. They cannot control themselves like proper species can." "Then why will they not pay? It is not even that much money." Half the assembly offered to help them. The old merchant drank from his cup and thought about it. "Pride," he finally said. "Human pride. They would rather let their people die than admit they can be hurt." Across the room, a young traveler listened to them talk. She had spent 2 years on a human colony world, studying their strange culture. She thought about correcting the merchants, about trying to explain what the humans were really thinking. But she did not think they would understand. Because it was not about pride, it was about something else, something the other species of the galaxy had forgotten long ago. Far away, at the edge of space, the TSS Indomitable dropped out of faster-than-light travel with a flash of blue light. Behind her came 16 destroyers and 4 carriers. The 7th Rapid Response Fleet had arrived. Fleet Admiral Bai stood on the bridge, her hands clasped behind her back. She was a small woman with sharp eyes and hair pulled back so tight it seemed to stretch her face. She had commanded warships for 25 years, and she had never lost a battle. She did not plan to start now. "Admiral," said her communications officer, a young man named Shin Min, "we are receiving messages from multiple sources. The diplomatic corps, the trade union, the collective, the—" "What do they want?" Min looked at his screen. "They are offering to help negotiate. Some are offering money. They say they have experience dealing with the and can help us reach an agreement." Bai's face showed nothing. "Delete them all." "Yes, Admiral." "Open a channel to Warlord. Broadcast it on all frequencies. I want every ship in this sector to hear this. I want every news network to record it. I want the entire galaxy to know exactly what we are saying." Min worked at his controls. "Channel open, Admiral." Bai stepped forward. A small camera drone floated in front of her, recording everything. Warlord of the Dominion, I am Fleet Admiral Bai of the Terran Federation Navy. You have taken 44 citizens of Earth. You have hurt them. You have threatened to kill them unless we give you money and territory. She paused. Her voice was calm and cold like ice water. We do not negotiate with murderers. We do not pay money to terrorists. We do not give rewards to those who attack our people. On 100 worlds, billions of beings watched the small human woman speak. They saw her fleet floating in space behind her. They saw the weapons on her ships, and they saw her eyes, which held no fear at all. You now have a choice, Bai continued. Release every hostage within 6 hours. Release them unharmed, and you will be allowed to surrender peacefully. You will face trial for your crimes, but you will live. Her voice dropped lower. Fail to release them, and there will be no more talking between us. This is not a negotiation. This is not the beginning of a discussion. This is your only warning. You have 6 hours to decide if you want to live. The transmission ended. Across the galaxy, news programs went crazy. Experts appeared on screens to explain why the humans were making a terrible mistake. Military analysts showed maps of space and explained how the human fleet was too small to fight the entire Dominion. Diplomats talked about how negotiation was always better than war. But on Earth, and on every human colony world, people watched their admiral with different eyes. They did not see a small woman making a foolish threat. They saw the iron promise of a civilization that had learned, through thousands of years of painful history, that giving in to bullies only created more bullies. In the holding cells of Outpost Theta 7, the human prisoners watched the transmission on a small screen their guards had set up to torment them, wanted them to see their government abandon them. He wanted them to feel hopeless and afraid. Dr. Park watched Admiral speak. She saw the fleet behind her. She heard the promise in her voice. And for the first time since she had been captured, she smiled. The guard nearest to her saw the smile and felt something strange, something that might have been the beginning of fear. "Why do you smile?" he demanded. "Your people will not save you. They are too proud to pay. You will die here." Looked at him with those same angry eyes she had shown in transmission. "You do not understand," she said softly. "That message was not for us. It was for you, and you should be very, very afraid." The guard laughed at her, but later that night, alone in his quarters, he could not sleep. He kept thinking about the human woman's smile and the cold promise in the Admiral's voice. 6 hours was not very long at all. Warlord watched the human Admiral's message 3 times. Each time, he laughed louder than before. His command room was full of his most trusted warriors. They were big creatures, with thick scales and long arms that ended in clawed hands. They had fought in dozens of raids, taken hundreds of hostages, and collected more ransom money than most species earned in a lifetime. "Listen to her," said, pointing at the frozen image of Admiral on his screen. "This tiny creature thinks she can threaten me, the warlord who brought them to their knees, the warlord who made them pay 3 times what I asked." His warriors laughed with him. The sound filled the room like rocks falling down a mountain. "Humans are new to the galaxy," said one of his lieutenants, a veteran named. "They do not understand how things work. They still think they are special." "Then we will teach them," decided. "They gave me 6 hours. Let us show them what their time limit means to me." He stood and grabbed his blade from the wall. It was a beautiful weapon, curved and sharp, with a handle made from the bone of some creature he had killed long ago. "Bring me the human woman, the one with angry eyes. We will send her people a lesson they will never forget." What he could not have known, was that the lesson had already begun. 40 hours before Admiral made her broadcast, before the galaxy even knew about the hostages, a small ship had dropped out of faster-than-light travel on the dark side of Outpost Theta 7's moon. It was painted black and carried no lights. Its engines made almost no sound. To anyone watching, It would have looked like just another piece of space rock drifting through the void. Inside that ship were 12 humans. They wore black armor and carried weapons that most species had never seen. Their faces were painted dark, and their eyes had been treated with special drops that let them see in complete darkness. They were Ghost Team, the most secret unit in the Terran Federation military, and they were very, very good at their job. Strike Commander Han-Du checked his equipment one final time. He was not a big man, but he moved with the careful grace of someone who had trained his body to be a perfect weapon. His face was calm, almost peaceful, like someone about to take a pleasant walk rather than attack a building full of armed enemies. "Team status," he said quietly into his communicator. "Team 2 ready," came the reply from Sergeant Park 1. She was smaller than Du, with quick hands and quicker eyes. She had killed more enemies than anyone else in Ghost Team, and she did it so quietly that most of them never knew she was there. "Team 3 ready," said another voice. This was Corporal Sung-Ho, the youngest member of the team but also the best shot. Du looked at the layout of Outpost Theta 7 on his small screen. They had been studying it for hours, memorizing every corridor, every room, every possible hiding place. The hostages were being held in the central detention block, 3 floors below the surface. Between them and their targets were 62 warriors. "Remember the mission," Du said. "Hostages first, not one scratch on any of them." He paused. "They are not our priority, but they are not our friends either. If they see you, put them down fast and quiet." "And if they surrender?" one asked. Du thought about the transmission he had seen. He thought about Dr. Park with blood on her face and a blade at her throat. He thought about the other 43 humans, scared and hurt and waiting for someone to save them. "We are not here to take prisoners," he said. "Move out." They went through the maintenance tunnels that ran beneath the outpost. They did not know about these tunnels. They had been built when the outpost was first constructed, then sealed and forgotten. But humans never truly forgot anything. Somewhere in a database on Earth, the original plans still existed. Someone had found them and sent them to Ghost Team. The tunnels were dark and narrow. Water dripped from the ceiling, and strange sounds echoed in the distance. But Ghost Team moved through them like ghosts, making no more noise than shadows. Above them was preparing to kill Dr. Park. He had dragged her into the main holding area, where all the other hostages could see. He wanted them to watch. He wanted them to understand that their government had abandoned them, that all their hope was useless. "Your admiral gave me 6 hours," announced, his voice echoing off the metal walls. "I think I will give her 6 minutes. Let us see how proud she is when she watches you die." Stood straight and did not cry. Her hands were tied behind her back, but her eyes were still angry, still fighting. "You are brave for such a small thing," admitted. "I almost respect that, but bravery does not stop blades." He raised his weapon. "My name is Park," she said suddenly. Her voice was clear and strong. "I am a citizen of Earth, and I want you to know something." He paused, amused. No one had ever tried to make a speech before dying. Most just begged and cried. This human was interesting. "Speak your last words," he said. "I will allow it." Smiled. It was not a scared smile. It was not a brave smile pretending to be strong. It was the smile of someone who knew something that did not. "My people are coming for me," she said, "and they do not forgive." Laughed and raised his blade to strike. The lights went out. In the sudden darkness, heard sounds he had never heard before. Soft sounds, quick sounds, the sounds of his warriors falling one by one, their voices cut off before they could even scream. Then he heard footsteps coming toward him, calm and steady. And for the first time in his long and violent life, Warlord felt something he had made so many others feel. He felt afraid. The darkness was total. Not even the emergency lights came on. Somewhere in the depths of the outpost, Ghost Team had cut every power line, every backup system, every source of light. For the warriors who had always been the hunters, the darkness turned them into prey. Dew moved through the black like water flowing around stones. His special eye drops let him see everything in shades of gray and green. He could see the stumbling around, bumping into walls, calling out to each other in confused voices. They were trying to form groups, trying to find their weapons, trying to understand what was happening. They never got the chance. One was the first to strike. She came up behind a guard so quietly that he never heard her. One quick motion, and he was on the ground. She moved to the next one before his body stopped falling. All around the detention level, Ghost Team was working. They did not use guns yet. Guns made noise, and noise would give away their positions. Instead, they used blades and hands and silent techniques that human soldiers had developed over thousands of years of warfare. They were warriors. They were strong and fast and had won many battles. But they had always fought enemies who stood in front of them, who shouted challenges and charged in straight lines. They had never faced an enemy who came from the shadows, who struck without warning, who disappeared before you could even turn around. In 3 minutes, 20 warriors were down. Team 2, detention block entrance clear, one reported in a whisper. Team 3, secondary corridors secure, came another voice. Dew checked his scanner. The hostages were just ahead, in a large room with thick metal doors. 20 more were inside with them, including himself. All teams converge on primary target, Dew ordered. We go loud in 30 seconds. Remember, hostages are priority. Going loud meant using guns. The silent part of the mission was over. Now came the fast part. Inside the detention room was screaming at his warriors to form a circle around the hostages. He could not see anything, but he had his blade pressed against throat again. He thought if he held a hostage, the attackers would not shoot him. He did not understand how humans thought. The doors exploded inward. Bright lights cut through the darkness, mounted on the weapons of Ghost Team. To they who had been in complete darkness, the lights were blinding. They threw up their arms to protect their eyes. That was their last mistake. Ghost Team moved into the room like a single creature with 12 bodies. Their weapons fired in perfect rhythm, each shot finding a target. The warriors fell one after another, too blinded and confused to fight back effectively. Sung Ho, the young corporal with the perfect aim, took down 5 in 4 seconds. His shots were so precise that he never came close to hitting any of the hostages cowering on the floor. One led a smaller group around the side of the room, catching the remaining in a crossfire. In less than a minute, it was over. 62 had guarded this outpost. 61 of them were now on the ground and would never get up again. Only remained, still holding with his blade at her throat. "Stay back," he screamed. His voice was high and frightened, nothing like the confident warlord who had threatened the entire Terran Federation. "I will kill her. I will cut her throat right now if you come any closer." Dew walked toward him slowly. He had lowered his weapon. His hands were at his sides. His face was calm and empty, showing nothing at all. "You are finished," he said. "Your warriors are dead. Your ship has been captured. Your entire operation is over. Let the woman go, and you might live long enough to see a trial." No, pulled against him. "No, you do not understand. I am a warlord of the Dominion. Species bow to me. They pay me, they fear me." "We are not most species," Dew said. He kept walking forward step by step. "We are human, and we do not bow, we do not pay, we do not fear." His hand shook. The blade drew a thin line of blood on his neck, but Dew did not stop. He just kept coming, his eyes locked on his face. "You have 3 seconds," Dew said. 1. "I will do it, I will kill her." 2. "You are insane, you are all insane." Dew's hand moved faster than could see. One moment it was at his side. The next moment there was a small gun in it. The shot was so quick, so precise, that did not even feel the wind of the bullet passing by her ear. fell backward, the blade dropping from his lifeless fingers. The hole in his head was small and neat, exactly between his yellow eyes. Collapsed to her knees, her whole body shaking. Du knelt beside her, and when he spoke, his voice was completely different, soft, gentle, human. "Dr. Park, my name is Commander Han Du. You are safe now. We have a ship waiting to take you home." Looked up at him. Tears were running down her face, but she was smiling. "I told him," she whispered. "I told him you were coming." Du smiled back. It was a small smile, but it was real. "We always come," he said. "That is the promise. No matter where our people are taken, no matter who takes them, we always come." He helped her stand and led her toward the other hostages, who were being freed by the rest of Ghost Team. 44 humans, scared and hurt but alive, every single one of them. Above the planet, Admiral received the message she had been waiting for. Operation Silent Thunder complete, all hostages secured, 0 friendly casualties. She allowed herself one small nod of satisfaction. Then she turned to her communications officer. "Open a channel to the time to deliver the rest of our message." They had never seen human warships before. Now, 16 destroyers and 4 carriers hung in their sky like dark clouds promising a storm. Admiral's message was broadcast on every channel, not just but to every species in the galaxy. News networks stopped their regular programs to show her face on their screens. Billions of beings watched and listened. "Citizens of the Dominion," she said, "Warlord is dead. All hostages have been recovered alive. The soldiers who guarded them are no longer among the living." She paused to let those words sink in. "We are not here to destroy you. We are not here to conquer your worlds or take your resources. We are here to deliver a simple message and to make a simple demand." Behind her, the weapons of her fleet powered up. The watching from their planet could see the glow of energy building in the massive guns. "You will surrender every government official who approved the attack on our outpost. You will surrender every military commander who planned it. You will surrender every officer who supported it. These individuals will face trial for their crimes against citizens of Earth. If you refuse, we will come back, and next time we will not stop with one warlord." The government surrendered 17 officials within 6 hours. They were taken away on human ships to face justice on a neutral world, where representatives from dozens of species would judge them for their crimes. 3 months later, Ambassador Ho stood once again in the Galactic Assembly. The Great Hall was completely full. Every seat was taken. Many beings stood in the aisles, wanting to hear what the human had to say. Ho walked to the central platform and looked around at all the faces watching him. He saw the ambassador, who had offered to help negotiate. He saw the, who had offered money. He saw the dozens of other species who had called humans insane and proud and foolish. "Thank you for allowing me to speak today," he began. His voice was calm and steady. "I know many of you were confused by our actions. Some of you were angry. Some thought we had lost our minds." He smiled a little. "We have been called many things since we joined the galactic community. Young, emotional, primitive, dangerous. Perhaps some of those things are true. We are young compared to most of you. We do feel things deeply. We have not been in space very long." He walked slowly across the platform. "But I want to explain something. I want you to understand why we did what we did, and why we will always do the same thing if it happens again." The hall was completely silent. Even the translation machine seemed to be waiting. "Many of you have paid ransoms to the... Many of you have given in to their demands because it seemed practical, because it seemed reasonable, because the mathematics made sense. Pay a little money, get your people back, avoid a fight." Ho stopped and looked directly at the ambassador. "How many times have you paid them?" The shifted uncomfortably. 7 times, he admitted. "And did they stop attacking you after the first time, the second, the third?" They did not answer. He did not need to. Everyone knew the truth. Every ransom you pay teaches them that taking hostages works, Ho said. Every time you give in to threats, you prove that threats are effective. Every credit you send them makes their army stronger and their next attack more likely. He turned to face the whole assembly. Humanity learned this lesson long ago, in wars that we fought among ourselves. We learned it in blood and fire and millions of deaths. We learned that giving in to bullies does not make them stop. It only makes them hungry for more. His voice grew stronger. So we made a choice, a hard choice, a choice that looks insane if you do not understand the mathematics of fear. We chose to never pay, to never give in, to never reward those who hurt our people. But they might have killed your hostages, someone shouted from the crowd. Yes, Ho agreed. They might have, and if they had, we would have hunted down everyone responsible and made them answer for their crimes. Not out of revenge, though we would have felt that too, but because we needed everyone in the galaxy to know that killing humans is not profitable, that threatening humans does not work, that there is no amount of money you can demand that we will pay, and no threat terrible enough to make us bow. He walked to the edge of the platform. We did not do this to be cruel. We did not do it to prove how strong we are. We did it because it was the only way to keep our people safe in the long run. We did it so that the next warlord and the one after that would think twice before touching a human citizen. Ho looked around one more time. This is the message we want every species in the galaxy to understand. Humanity does not bargain with murderers. We do not forget attacks against our people. We do not forgive those who hurt us without paying the price. He started walking toward the exit, but stopped halfway. If you want to be our friends, we will be the most loyal allies you have ever known. We will fight beside you, trade with you, learn from you, and teach you in return. Humanity has so much to offer the galaxy. His eyes grew hard. But if you hurt our people, if you take them and threaten them and expect us to pay for their return, then you will discover something else about humanity. You will learn why we survived everything our planet threw at us, why we conquered our world and reached for the stars, why we are still here, still growing, still reaching further. He paused at the doorway. We remember, we always remember, and we never ever stop. The doors closed behind him. In the great hall, 1,000 species sat in silence, thinking about what they had heard. Some were angry, some were afraid, some were impressed despite themselves. But all of them understood one thing clearly now. The young species from the small blue planet was not like the others. They played by different rules. They thought in longer terms. They were willing to pay any price to protect their own. That year, hostage-taking against human targets dropped to 0. Within 5 years, it had become the unwritten law of the galaxy. You could raid other species. You could make threats against other governments. You could play the old games of kidnapping and ransom that had worked for thousands of years. But you did not touch humans. Because humans did not bargain. Humans remembered. And humans always came for their own.